Breaking news! Sacred Stones has finally come to Fire Emblem Heroes. Sure, it's got Ephraim and Erica, but they don't really count. And I suppose it's not really breaking news either, because everybody got this extremely surprising notification in their inbox this morning. I just about dookied in my pants when I saw it this morning. And I'm not even like the big... I like Sacred Stones, but I'm not a big fanboy of it. But still, I'm really glad it happened. It really annoys me, the fact that there's still games out there that are criminally underrepresented. That was weird. So, I guess we're going to take a look at some of the units here, talk about them, have me tell you if they're worth it or not. And first up is probably the most worth unit in this banner, mostly because of that armor march. And maybe a little bit of that Slayer Axe. I'm not sure exactly what IS is thinking, but I guess they're thinking that the Killer Axe is underpowered, so they're essentially relaunching all the weapons with the killer weapon ability, but like one might stronger. Very interesting, and also very not interesting at the same time. She is one hell of a tank. Holy fuck. She's got the Sacred Cowl, which reduces her damage from ranged attacks. She's got Earth Boost, which just generally increases her defense, which basically just covers her on both aspects of defense and res, since most range units are mages anyway. So she kind of seems like a more generalist Sheena. I think the most interesting thing about her kit is that Armored March. So if you've already had enough trouble with Armor Emblem teams, like Hector, Effie, Zephyl, and then whoever else fills the 4th slot, I think the number 4 guaranteed slot is going to go to her now. So now it's going to go Hector, Effie, Zephyl, and Amelia. That'll probably be the perfect Armor Emblem. They're going to have all the buffs. They're going to have the movement buff, which will probably be insanely strong, I think. We're going to see it in action, and oh man. If you have an Armor Emblem team, if you have a Hector, you got an Effie, and you've got a Gwendolyn. Oh, that's the 4th one it could have possibly gone to, because she's got the Hone Attack one. Oh man. This is going to shake up the meta a little bit. Which might be a good thing, really. This might be a good thing. And she might also end up being the fastest armor unit. Because I feel like they purposely included in that combat scene in the preview the fact that she doubled that generic lance unit that she was attacking. I feel like she'll have some sort of high speed. Maybe in general, maybe compared to the other armor units. We will see. This is rather interesting, and I feel like of all the units so far, she's going to be the must-have unit if they're following the formula of the summer banners. Let's go. Which I feel they are. There's the must-have unit and then the must-have skill. Now, up next is another fan favorite, Seth. But, unfortunately, I feel like they've done him a disservice. It's got Fortress Defense and Seal Attack and Defense 2 with a ruby sword. This is kind of interesting, but I feel like they've given him a generically weak kit. He's going to essentially control attack and defense, but the kit suggests he's not going to have the ability to one-round KO things, which is the current meta, and I don't think that's ever going to change, really. It feels like he can be a hard counter for axe units. It seems like if you were to put Seth against a Hector, Seth would win guaranteed, hands down, arms tied behind his back. He'll have Fortress Defense followed up with the Ruby Sword, and Seal Attack and Defense, allowing him to essentially tip the already heavy scale. So just generally, his kit seems weak, but I feel like it still has a purpose, albeit a very specific one. He is a sword cavalry unit, which we don't have a heck of a lot of those, and I actually feel like he will probably be one of the most competitive red cavalry units, so I guess that's his saving grace. Side note, you're about to watch me fuck up Julia's positioning because I planned on using Ike to reposition Camus so he doesn't take, well, essentially he doesn't fucking die. But I get extremely lucky, and because Camilla was out of position, she didn't enjoy the buffs from Flyer Emblem, allowing Camus to survive and saving my ass. Camus is so fucking good, guys. Anyway, back to Seth. I can't really think of that many sword cavalry units aside from Stall. I can't think of any other ones right now. So I'm thinking Seth might actually be a good unit to get from this banner, and his stats might also suggest him being a very competitive unit in his own right. However, if his stats come out and they're not quite competitive, he's probably going to get outclassed by Xander, especially having a distant counter attached to his weapon. So he may already be at a disadvantage, which is rather unfortunate because I know Seth is a fan favorite of the Sacred Stones community. But let's hope that with this unique kit, maybe we can get some very interesting use out of the Seal Attack and Defense ability. That's rather interesting. So coming up next, we're going to have the prince himself, Innes. And his kit is extremely interesting. This suggests to me that he was essentially made to specifically counter the Raven Tomes. I feel Innes is going to be an even stronger mage killer than Niles. On top of that, his legendary weapon, the Nidhogg. Wow, that is an amazing ability. That is the Owl Tome effect. And I'm thinking Innes may change up the meta himself as well. He's also a very strong unit. You know what? I'm actually thinking I'm going to change my mind since I started this video here. I'm going to say Innes will also be another must-have unit from this banner. However, if you already have a good bow unit, or you have a good magic check, you won't necessarily need Innes. He's a strong unit in his own right, and his kit is extremely synergistic. He'll be able to make up for having that fortress resistance by utilizing his Nidhogg weapon, along with his Cancel Affinity and his Iceberg special. He will be able to put out extremely high amounts of damage as long as I'm right in assuming that his resistance is going to be high. And also I have to mention something again. I fucked up Julia's positioning once again. I should have left her where she was, because Ike would have moved, and then Azura would have danced her, or danced him, danced Ike allowing him to absolutely murder Julia. But at the very least, when I repositioned Julia, she was able to deal some damage back. She still died, but at least got some value than she otherwise would have. I just wanted to point that out real quick. Going back to Enos, or however you spell his name, or fucking pronounce it. So I might be butchering it. I feel like he's going to be an extremely strong unit, mostly because of his weapon. Granted, if his stats are good enough, he could be one of the best bow units. However, if you have Bride Cordelia or any other quick, brave bow unit made to quad something, or just generally strong, you probably won't need Enos at all, as long as you also bring a magic check. So moving on to Tana, she comes with Vidofnir, Guidance, which is probably the must-have skill in this banner. Like, holy shit, Guidance? That's virtually a free reposition. Oh my god. It's like Wings of Mercy and Reposition had a fucking beautiful baby. The kind of baby that you would look at and you know they're gonna grow up to essentially be a celebrity based off their good looks. I know that probably sounds terrible, but it's like, fucking A. How did these two things come together and produce this sort of offspring? Holy shit. Guidance. Now we're gonna be seeing that shit pop up in Arena all over the place, and we're gonna have shit like teleporting all over the fucking, just everywhere, just teleporting everywhere. Probably won't get as much use from Guidance or Horse Emblem, because they've got a movement of 3 anyway. So if they're 2 spaces away from Guidance, the Guidance user, they're going to be able to move there anyway. So I'm not sure exactly how Guidance will be utilized, but it's extremely interesting and it could probably be the deciding factor in a lot of battles, where it means the difference between something dying and something retreating to safety behind, I don't know, a fucking Vantage Hector maybe, which are fucking everywhere. I mean, if I had a Hector, I'd probably put Vantage on him too, because fuck everybody else. Oh man, I really can't believe that they just dropped Sacred Stones banner out of nowhere, out of fucking nowhere. A lot of people were actually giving up hope that they were going to do Sacred Stones at all. I had a little bit of hope. I didn't have much. I felt like if they were going to do Sacred Stones, it was going to be after all of this, 6-month anniversary nonsense was done. Probably after, Choose Your Legends. Wow. I'm glad that they did Sacred Stones, but I feel like they didn't put in some of the more popular Sacred Stones characters, like Lute, or maybe even Myrrh. I'm wondering why they haven't included more dragons since launch, because I don't believe they have made any more new ones since then, which is a rather interesting fact to me. I believe that the exclusion of these particular characters would lend credence to an additional future Sacred Stones banner. That's what I feel like. I'm speculating again, but I feel like that they will be adding more Sacred Stones characters in the future. They can't simply ignore some of these very popular characters. I'm hoping that they also include other games that don't have representation. So I think that's about it for now. I would say save your orbs, obviously, but the entire point of saving your orbs is to spend them in the first place. So, if you need an Armor Emblem unit, or you like Sacred Stones, this is your banner. Whoa, 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 whoa. I almost forgot to actually talk about Tannis. Fuck, all I did was talk about guidance. Okay, luckily I caught that before I finished the video. I had to attach some more video here and edit that shit in and record more commentary. Anyway, she's got a legendary weapon, Vidofnir, 16 might, and when she is attacked by a sword axe or lance, was it Dragonstone? Fuck, forgot. But she gets +7 to defense. Wow, that is strong. That is extremely strong. Wow. I'm wondering if she's going to have low defense to make up for the fact that her legendary weapon is A, very strong, and B, gives her so much value in the form of defensive stats. Like, on the enemy phase. I'm wondering if she will be like a glass cannon-ish unit, be able to get in, have high speed, high attack, take a bit of damage during the counter, and then if she's attacked, she may be able to survive due to that massive defense buff. This weapon is going to be extremely interesting, and she could also be another competitive unit. I believe that IS is becoming a little bit more forthcoming with powerful units as opposed to the summer banners. I actually feel like these characters are very competitive and worth getting for the most part. Remember my prior advice, know what you want and save your orbs for that. If you already have good bow units, you already have good flyers, armor units, a cavalry unit, etc., I would give this one a pass. Especially if you're free to play, but otherwise, like I said, Sacred Stones, if that's your favorite game, go for it, right? Thanks for watching, dudes. Stay tuned. This banner seems cool, honestly.